Hands down, the biggest, craziest fantasy football draft I've ever been part of has finally ended. Here are the results. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are the draft results for the Fantasy Football Throne Followers versus Followers League. If you don't know what this league is about, it's essentially 12 fantasy football experts battling it out, but the followers make all the decisions. This way, we can determine which fantasy football community is actually the best, and we're going to battle it out and compete. Fantasy Couch community's the best, guys. Well, we're gonna prove it. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna prove that we're the best, and we will be if we win this league. This league's roster settings are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and 8 bench spots. We have no defense, no kicker, because it's the first time we're trying this crazy idea out with a lot of followers. We wanted to keep it simple. It is full PPR, 4 points for passing touchdown, but 1 point for every 20 passing yards. Other than that, rules are pretty straightforward. I wasn't able to do my usual video and film the draft because this was a slow draft. I think it took about 3 weeks to do, so there's just no way I could film it. So we're gonna just show the end results and go through each team, give each team a grade. Our community had the 2nd overall pick in the lottery, and team 1, the 1st overall pick, went to Fantasy Football Counselor. The Counselor's team is as follows: DJ, Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, Luck, Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Vance McDonald, Mecole Hardman, Kyler Murray, Debo, Madison, TJ Hawkinson, Darwin Thompson, Gallup, Hakeem Butler, and Trayvon Williams. The 1st overall pick really set the tone of the draft, and it just lit it on fire. I couldn't even log into any of my social media platforms without hearing about Counselor's pick, Counselor did this, or David Johnson #1. Like, it was insane, and it shocked me, it shocked everybody out there, but David Johnson is still a top 5 overall player. He's still pretty good. The O-line there sucks. There's a lot of uncertainties, but as far as the talent, David Johnson's one of the most talented running backs in the league. There's no doubt about that. They're going to be running a lot of plays. Just a bit of a surprise to take him over guys like Kamara, McCaffrey, or even Zeke. Like, even if Zeke gets suspended a couple games, I'm still considering taking him #1 overall. I don't think that's that bad of a deal. These next 2 players aren't as crazy to me. I actually have Derrick Henry ranked as a top 10 running back, and I like Derrick Henry a lot, mainly because of his durability. I believe he's way more durable than a lot of other players that are of similar caliber to him. So I'm talking about guys like Devonta Freeman, I'm talking about guys like Marlon Mack, and Dalvin Cook even. I just feel like Derrick Henry is more durable, less of an injury risk than those guys. The light switch flipped on the last 4 games for him, and I think he'll continue his success. David Montgomery, a little bit of a surprise there because he's going to be good. He's going to be great. He's on a great offense, but to pick him that early, and with other running backs there, such as Mike Davis, who's pretty much irrelevant, I'll admit that, but Tariq Cohen, and they like to spread the ball a lot, it's just a little bit of a surprise. So I'm not really hating on any of these 3 picks necessarily. The first one was quite a shocker. I liked Derrick Henry, but never underestimate your opponent is how I say it. So if Counselor invested heavily in these 3 running backs, if he can hit on some of these other positions, he could be a team to be reckoned with. And I mean, if you guys have been watching my channel a lot, like, I try not to make any crazy bold predictions just to make them. I don't have any hot takes just to make hot takes to get views. That's not my thing. I try to stay as genuine as possible. That's just how I am. I'm just trying to be honest. And even though Counselor's team, as you can see, is very extreme, if his wide receivers do hit, I can see him winning a lot of games. Like I said, never underestimate your opponent. Then he went a bit of a surprise getting Andrew Luck very early. So he's got his top 3. That's a top 3 quarterback right there. I believe Counselor thinks Andrew Luck is the best quarterback. He ranks him #1. And with this Tyreek Hill suspension possibly looming, Andrew Luck very well might be. He's talented. He's super elite. And now he's on a really good team. He seems healthy. He has a good O-line finally. And they throw the ball a ton. They throw the ball a ton also in the red zone. Then it's like starting to get kind of crazy because it's Kenny Golladay and Sterling Shepard as the starting wide receiver 1 and 2. I got to downgrade the team grade here, but this is still good value to get these guys. They're good starters. They're startable, just a little bit murky in a league that requires 3 wide receivers and a flex, and it's full PPR to be investing this little in wide receivers. I perhaps, even if you went 3 running backs, I wouldn't have went Andrew Luck. I probably would have got a wide receiver there. Vance McDonald, underrated tight end, absolutely love him. Some people think he went too early, but it's kind of like if you don't get him there, round 7, there's a good chance you won't be able to get him later. And if you're picking first or last, you got to wait like 22 picks in between your picks. So good chance you don't get Vance McDonald if you pass on him. Then Mecole Hardman, that's okay. I mean, they did spend, the Chiefs, they did spend a lot of draft capital on Hardman, and Tyreek Hill may be suspended. So definitely someone to consider in redrafts. I definitely would not recommend drafting him before round 8. And for me, he's more like a round 9 guy, maybe round 10. Like, just so many uncertainties there. And then another huge shocker. So this is when we were going to go with we're thinking about taking a quarterback, and we're like, there's no way Counselor is taking a quarterback here. So I think about 66%, like 2/3, were voting for Drew Brees. Like, we want Drew Brees. He's elite. You know, like getting him this late in round 8 or 9 is going to be great. And then we're like, there's no way Counselor is taking a quarterback, so we'll be able to get our guy. And about 1/3 of the chat wanted Kyler Murray. So I'm like, we want 2 quarterbacks, and Counselor's not going to pick a quarterback. Boom, I'm streaming live on YouTube, and Counselor goes with a quarterback. Kyler Murray, definitely a shocker. I think I said like 99.98% chance he will not pick a quarterback, and boom, picks a quarterback round 4 and round 9 when you can only start 1 quarterback. I think people were telling me he took him so to hoard him and prevent and block other owners from getting Kyler Murray. And I'm huge on Kyler Murray. I think he's a huge sleeper. He has tons of upside. But if you do go get Kyler Murray, I also highly recommend investing in a second quarterback. In this case was an extreme crazy case where you got Andrew Luck and then you get Kyler Murray as your QB2. Hey, it is what it is. I'm kind of happy that happened because he's going to have one of these elite quarterbacks on his bench or whatever. If they're not elite, like if Kyler Murray's a bust, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't hurt me. If Kyler Murray is elite, he can't start both of them. So I'd rather have a bunch of elite quarterbacks on one guy's team, just wasting bench space. Hey man, it doesn't affect me, so I'm cool with that pick. And we still got our guy. Deebo Samuel, very underrated rookie. He's very good. I liked him going into the draft, but I'm avoiding all Niner receivers. Shanahan's going to spread the ball a lot. I mean, George Kittle's going to be the man there. And then there's going to be Marquise Goodwin. There's Trent Taylor. There's Pettis. There's Deebo Samuel. There's just so many weapons there. And they're going to be throwing to the running backs a lot that I'm avoiding all Niners wide receivers pretty much. Then we have Madison. That's a good backup in case Dalvin Cook gets injured. TJ Hawkinson as the backup tight end. There's one rookie tight end that I love, and that's Hawkinson. We've been disappointed by rookie tight ends almost all the time, so wouldn't be surprised if Hawkinson does nothing his first year. But if there's one rookie tight end that I'd go all in on, it's got to be him. The Lions are going to rely on him to be good this year, or that team is not going to be good at all. Darwin Thompson's a rookie that's been impressing quite a bit. I don't think Andy Reid is going to go all in on a 6th-round rookie the first year. So as a dynasty pick, this is looking good. But for redraft, I don't like him as much. Still, round 13, that's not a bad choice. Round 14, Michael Gallup, great value. Round 15, Hakeem Butler, excellent value. But similar to the Niners situation, I'm not too high on too many Arizona Cardinals wide receivers. They're going to be throwing out 4 wide receiver sets. It's going to be Hakeem Butler, Larry Fitzgerald, Andy Isabella is very talented. Christian Kirk could be the wide receiver 1 there. There's just no consistency, and you don't know what's going to happen. Hakeem Butler still could put up tight end type numbers, not a ton of yards, not a ton of catches, but could get double-digit touchdowns. Kind of like a poor man's Mike Williams, I guess. Those type of numbers, something like that. And then round 16, Trayvon Williams, the backup running back for the Bengals. Not bad there. So even though I think this team is wild, this team is extreme, I wouldn't recommend doing all these crazy things at all. I still think this team could make the playoffs. I'm going to give it a grade C+. And really the only thing I'm docking is the wide receivers. Like, the wide receivers are okay, but in a league where I'd really love, to start 3 wide receivers blindly, it's going to be a bit tougher. Like, are you going to really put in Mecole Hardman week 1 or Deebo Samuel even week 1? It's just a bit crazy because you have to start 3. Like, there's no way around it. You have to start 3. I get it. You're probably going to use a running back in your flex. You drafted 3 running backs the first 3 rounds, so that's going to be RB1, RB2 flex. But wide receivers are severely lacking. Everything else, you're solid in. So, hey, if your wide receivers pan out, your team is going to be really good. Your wide receivers don't pan out, your team's going to be trash. Team 2, this is our team, Couch Fam. So, second overall, I have Zeke ranked number 1 still. It's a bit murky though with this suspension. I'm kind of glad that you guys voted for Saquon Barkley, and that's who I went with. I went with Saquon Barkley. That was amazing, and I'm proud you guys voted Saquon because I don't think I would have wanted to deal with the Zeke headache anyway. So you guys kept me in check. Saquon Barkley it is, and hey man, I love it. I think he's the most talented running back. And he's only played 1 year. Like, he can even improve, which I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, players can get better after their first year. Then with round 2, what we were kind of thinking was, look, we have about 4 guys that we like here. I think it was Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and Mike Evans just got sniped. And I like Damian Williams and Marlon Mack, not too far from Damian Williams. And I really like Derrick Henry, but most of the chat wasn't really feeling Derrick Henry. I think only 1 or 2 other people like Derrick Henry. They're like, look, he can't catch. This is PPR. It's like, I know, but he'll get touchdowns. He'll be a beast still. It was okay. Since we like about 4 players, let's go get the tight end we all love. So, tier 1 tight end, we reached. I know it was a bit early. We reached and got George Kittle, knowing that we would get a player that we still really liked. So, Damian Williams was essentially our number 1 guy, and we ended up still getting him. And I didn't really think Counselor would take a tight end, but I said, hey, maybe 80% chance he'll take a tight end. He won't take a tight end here. Still, we got our tight end knowing that we're going to get at least 1, 2, 3 options that we really like. We just have to wait 2 more turns. So we went Kittle a bit early, got a tier 1 tight end. Then we went Damian Williams. Not the best floor, but an amazing ceiling. Andy Reid has had a lot of running backs be successful, dating back from Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy. Then it went Jamal Charles, and then Kareem Hunt. And now we're thinking Damian Williams could be that guy. Seeing like 5, 6 targets a game, like just insane, 7 targets possibly even a game. And that's just the pass game. And the guy really fits well with KC. Hopefully there will be no committee there. Right now he is the starter. Hopefully he'll remain the starter. There is some risk there, but still really love the pick. You're not picking to not lose, you're picking to win, and that's the type of guy Damian Williams is. Something crazy here. We went Chris Godwin, which is a guy you don't want as your wide receiver 1. Even though he could be a wide receiver 1, he's still a top 15 wide receiver, a high-end wide receiver 2. We did this thinking Counselor might go Godwin because it's such an upside pick. So we're like, look, let's get Godwin now and hope Edelman falls. We all loved Edelman. And then everyone on the chat agreed. They're like, let's do it. Let's go crazy. Let's go bold. So we went Chris Godwin. And then we were able to pull it off and go get Edelman. We were so thankful and so happy when Edelman fell. Second pick of round 5, Julian Edelman, another top 15 super high-end wide receiver 2 in full PPR. I love Julian Edelman. No Gronk there, no Josh Gordon. Austin Seferian-Jenkins I don't know what's up with him. He's not on the team anymore. No Chris Hogan. So Julian Edelman is the man in New England when it comes to the passing game. So that was a great pick. And obviously we're lacking at wide receiver, so we were so thankful to be able to hit in those picks, 4.11 and 5.02. Then we went Lamar Miller, pedestrian, simple, easy, pretty safe pick. Nothing exciting there, but like, hey, let's, get an RB3. Let's secure this. Same thing with Allen Robinson. This was the 31st wide receiver off the board, and people were picking him as like top 15 last year. He was way overhyped. This year we know what it is. They will spread the ball a lot, the Bears, and Allen Robinson will be the number one receiver on that team. I think it's a good value pick. And hey, we took some risks. We went George Kittle early. We went with Damian Williams. We went Chris Godwin as our first overall pick. And now I was like, let's play it safe. Everyone was like, cool. I think Alshon Jeffrey got some votes here. I forgot who else, but I know Alshon was up there, and a couple other players, and maybe DK Metcalf and whatnot. And I was like, look, man, 50% chance Metcalf falls to round 8. Like, I don't want Metcalf as the wide receiver 3, meaning basically we have to start him week 1. We have to start him every week. I didn't want that. I love Metcalf, but I know his floor is non-existent, okay? So I don't want to start him week 1. And, hey, thankfully, it happened. I said 50-50, Metcalf would fall. Metcalf fell to 8.11. We were ecstatic about that, so we went and got DK Metcalf. And look, I know I'm like saying a bunch of players, like I'm thankful they fell. We did get sniped with guys like Mike Evans in round 2. A lot of players we wanted did get taken, but hey, we really hit on some of these risks where we wanted Metcalf in round 6 or 7, but we passed on him, and we got a little bit lucky, and a little bit of calculations worked in my head. So it was cool. We did that. And then I told you about Drew Brees. Most of the chat wanted Brees. Some of the chat wanted Kyler Murray. So we definitely wanted to take him round 9 since Counselor wouldn't have took a QB. And then boom, he takes a QB. But we still get Drew Brees. Drew Brees going round 6. We got him round 9. Super ecstatic about that. Then D.D. Westbrook. Wow, wide receiver 1 for the Jags. We don't know if that's for sure, but he's projected to be the number 1 receiver on the Jags. And that's when I say receiver, I mean out of all positions. So running back, tight end. He could be the number 1 guy that Foles goes to. And whether you like the Jags offense or you like Foles or not, you still have to admit, I mean, it's pretty much a fact that going from Bortles to Foles is a huge upgrade. Then knowing that Fournette gets benched, suspended, injured all the time, we went with his backup and got Rock Armstead. And again, round 12, Deshaun Hamilton should be the number 1 receiver for the Broncos. I think he outperformed Courtland Sutton, and I think he's the best wide receiver there. Not much else competition I don't see at the tight end position or the running back position, so he could be the number 1 receiver on the Broncos. Not a great offense, but getting the number 1 receiver on any team is good, especially what is that? That's our wide receiver 6. Love that. And then number 13, I was pushing to go get Peyton Barber, starting running back for the Bucks for now, and quite possibly the worst starting running back in the league. But I was like, let's just go get Barber, starting running back, round 13. The chat really turned on me and went Justice Hill, and again, I couldn't be more proud. Love Justice Hill's upside, big play potential. The Ravens run a lot of sets with 3 running backs, and Justice Hill can catch. I believe he has 49 receptions during his 3 years in college. He's got that home run threat, and would be cool to start him for 1 or 2 weeks when we got some bye weeks. I like it. I like you guys decided Justice Hill, and that's who we went for. Round 14 was like, I don't get why this happened, but round 14 started, like, things started getting really intense in the chat, and just coming up with who we're gonna pick. So Michael Gallup had the lead by 1 vote, and then somebody changed their vote from Gallup to Devontae Parker after I explained to him like why I voted for Parker. He's like, Parker sucks, but like why would you vote for Parker? I was about to put the pick in too, and I just explained like, look, Parker, he's been a bust, he's been horrible, but yes, he has a lot of upside. The coaching staff Hated him last year. I think he could be the number one receiver on the Dolphins. He's my number one most favorite wide receiver, and he has the most upside. And I like a boom or bust guy. Michael Gallup, he'll be okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with him, but I don't want to start Michael Gallup any week. I just don't. I'd rather go with Devontae Parker, and I think Fitzmagic is going to start, and I think he'll be the starter for a while. Someone changed their vote, so Gallup was up 1 vote, and then once that changed, now Devontae Parker was up 1 vote, and boom, we went with Devontae Parker. I'm still really happy that we voted for Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott was the better quarterback. We all pretty much agreed on that, but Cousins had the better matchups. The 2 or 3 weeks we may have been benching Drew Brees, like when he was on bye and when he was playing at Chicago. Cousins had some really sweet matchups. But if we knew if something were to happen to Brees or we needed to bench Brees for some reason, Dak would be better. Like, we all agreed on that. And Dak got the vast majority of votes. So I'm totally cool with that. Even though I do a ton of research on which quarterbacks go well with others and their matchups and whatnot, it's not a good idea to heavily weigh that type of stuff because so much can change. We did this draft in June. So July, August, September, October, so much can change. And also matchups don't hold that much weight, period, because defenses change so much year to year. 4 or 5 teams turn from studs to duds, and 4 or 5 teams turn from duds to studs. Every year it happens. It's so unpredictable. So very, very, very proud of this community for going Dak Prescott. And then round 16, man, we had another intense what is going on? Why is this the most intense round? It was so crazy. I think it's because there's so many players that if you pick a play, there's going to be some names nominated that some people in the chat really, really, really hate. They're like, Devontae Parker, man, he's trash. Mark Andrews, he's on a trash Ravens team that doesn't throw the ball. Lamar Jackson's a running back. I get it, but I don't know. I'm just surprised that the most intense discussions we had were round 14 and round 16, towards the end of the draft. Still, Mark Andrews got an overwhelming majority of the picks. We had a couple running backs in mind there, like Duke Johnson maybe, but he got picked a couple picks before us. It was cool. I think Mark Andrews is talented. He really showcased what he can do. And hopefully Lamar Jackson starts throwing the ball a little bit more and is more of a quarterback than a running back. I'm going to give our team a B+, and I'm not giving it something that low because I don't like it. I love the team. I feel very confident in it, and I love the community and how you guys voted and what you did. Even when I disagreed, it was amazing. I'm just trying to give as much of an unbiased, opinion, just looking from the outside on what I would give a team like this. This draft was insane. This idea has never been done before, so a lot of crazy things happened, and there was some really weird picks that happened for other teams, but it still was competitive. It still was really tough. So I think getting a B+ is really good. We're not the best at having elite wide receivers, and our quarterback situation is very good, but maybe doesn't quite have that top 5 or I'd say top 3 upside that some quarterbacks do offer, but still safe, steady. I think Brees and Dak Prescott should be top 12 quarterbacks, both of them. So still good quarterback situation. Definitely love the running back situation, but we made up for the wide receiver position with depth. Still grade B+, still a good grade. Team 3, we have fantasy football analyst Christian McCaffrey. I don't like him ahead of Kamara. I think I would go with Kamara ahead of C-Mac, but still, hey, that's not so bad. Mike Evans. Analysts had a lot of good picks fall in his lap. Still, great team though, pretty much, because you got Mike Evans super late. What is that, 2.10? Man, he almost fell to round 3. We would have took him for sure at 2.11. Then Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley. Man, this team is beasting so far. Mark Ingram, not my favorite running back to get, but in round 5, it's not a bad pick. Matt Ryan, drafted very early, but I believe he's playing 13 out of 16 of the games, of his regular season games, in a dome. A lot of people like Matt Ryan. I would have waited another round because I don't see that big of a difference between Matt Ryan and Brees. and Russell Wilson. So getting Matt Ryan in round 6 or Brees in round 9, I'd probably rather have Brees in round 9 because it's just better value. Then you went with Geis, not big on him. I guess there's some upside there. Cortland Sutton. We have the best Broncos wide receiver, by the way. Now the team's kind of slipping here. And then Greg Olsen, like, I have no clue what's going on with Greg Olsen. I guess you take, I feel like his career is coming to an end, though. Last couple of years, it's basically over for him. The writing's on the wall. There was talks of him being the commentator for Monday Night Football. Not really feeling this Greg Olsen pick. AP, actually a good pick here with Geis. That's a good backup. Andy Isabella, I like him a lot. More in Dynasty, though, than in redraft. Then Trey Burton. I think you realize the risk with Greg Olsen, so you go get Trey Burton, hoping that he'll be good somehow. And then we didn't go Peyton Barber, so you got Peyton Barber. And in round 13, that's excellent value. Then you went Ty Williams, Trubisky, good value for Trubisky that late as well, round 15. And then Randall Cobb. So the first few rounds, you went pretty strong analyst and then dwindled a little bit there. And then also made some good value picks, though, towards the end. Overall, this is a very good team. I would give this a grade B, and the main reason it's not a B plus or an A is really the tight end position. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Mark Ingram's your RB2. Like, I feel like your RB is kind of weak after McCaffrey, but like you can still make that work. Just a huge question mark at the tight end position. And instead of Matt Ryan, you could have 100%. This would have happened because I know who Counselor would have picked. Like, Counselor wasn't picking a quarterback, and we weren't. So instead of picking Matt Ryan, you could have got the best tight end available. I mean, OJ Howard was even really close right there. He just got picked a couple picks early. You could have got the best tight end available and 100% got Matt Ryan the next round, or even waited 2 more rounds and got like a Russell Wilson or Drew Brees. And then we have the Fantasy Football Show, Team 4. The commissioner, the guy who came up with this idea, Smitty. So he went Alvin Kamara, first pick. That's the 4th overall pick. And Alvin Kamara, he's gotten ranked as his number 1 overall player. So the Team Smitty, whatever the community is called, love that pick. Congratulations for you getting your number 1 player as a 4th overall pick. And then you went Dalvin Cook. Not a bad pick. I'm not too high on him because of the injury risk. I'd rather go Derrick Henry, but still good there. And then Patrick Mahomes. I think this was a mistake. I wouldn't have done that. Like, with the Tyreek Hill suspension going on, I just don't see a huge difference between Mahomes and Rodgers and Luck. And in round 3 in a 3 wide receiver league, I think you go wide receiver here. I know that they were thinking about taking Damian Williams and we took him. Like, really anybody here would have been better than a quarterback. I don't like taking a quarterback early round 3. I wouldn't do it. And I think this hurt the team moving forward. So first 2 rounds is cool. And then the team's kind of hurting after that. Because now you have Robert Woods, who's very underrated, a very good wide receiver. But that's your wide receiver 1. That's not really that great. And then Darrell Henderson, round 5. That's a 1 or 2 rounds way too early for me. I like Darrell Henderson round 7, round 8 maybe, not round 5. And that's early round 5 too, by the way. Just too early to take a backup running back. It's too much, man. I couldn't do that. And then Sammy Watkins. Smitty is talking about how Edelman never can stay healthy, but I mean Watkins can never stay healthy either. I don't even did he play a full year ever, or was it the year that he sucked? I don't know, but Watkins can never stay healthy, so you're basically forced to start Sammy Watkins. Hunter Henry, pretty good pick. I love that tight end. I think he wanted Njoku, but Hunter Henry is pretty much just as good. I actually like Njoku more because you can get him later, and that's why I like Njoku. You can get round 9. Well, Hunter Henry, you got to take round 7, so that's why I like Njoku more, but Hunter Henry just as good, if not better. Just got to take him a little earlier. And then you got to start N'Keal Harry too now, pretty much. That's your top 3 wide receivers. So it's looking pretty messy at the wide receiver spot. Jalen Samuels, good pick here at round 9. James Conner will be splitting with Samuels, and that's just great value. And Samuels can catch too. Then Damian Harris, round 10, great value pick. Wow, we're really picking up the pace here. Really good pick here with Michel's chronic knee issues and what's going on there. The Patriots are going to be using the running back position a lot this year in the run game, in the pass game. Get creative with it. Maybe do a couple 2 running back sets and set James White, as a wide receiver, split him out. So I like that. Great value for Damian Harris. And then Robert Foster, round 11. Little earlier than I expect him to go, but I like Robert Foster a lot, and we would have definitely considered drafting him soon, maybe round 12, which is only like 5 picks later. So I thought Robert Foster may keep falling, but man, is he a super sleeper. I love that pick. Round 11 is not too early for a guy like Robert Foster. Then he went Big Ben. This doesn't make any sense to me. Losing AB is going to hurt him. Big Ben's kind of towards the end of his career. I guess you might bench Patrick Mahomes if Tyreek Hill's suspended and Big Ben is at home. I don't really understand the thinking here. Is this a horde move, a block move? Is this just take the best player available? I don't get it. Like, if you're investing that high in Mahomes, you should just know, like, all right, if Mahomes gets hurt or something happens, we're going to lose anyway. Like, it is what it is. So I don't get picking Big Ben there. Especially, if you guys looking later on, Tom Brady was the pick. Like, it just makes no sense to me. I don't think you need 3 running backs. So we start to dwindle here a little bit. And then Josh Gordon, which is pretty much a waste of a pick. Like, I don't get this. It's a 3 wide receiver plus flex full PPR league, and you essentially have 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers, and then Josh Gordon. One of them is Sammy Watkins, who's never healthy. One of them's a rookie wide receiver, and N'Keal Harry. So, just you don't have a lot of quality or quantity at wide receivers, so I'm going to dock you quite a bit. And then Malcolm Brown, the handcuff of a handcuff. Okay, I guess that's a strategy. Then Tom Brady, have 3 quarterbacks. Hey, why not? And then Duke Johnson, I like that pick. We're considering getting him. Duke Johnson fell all the way to round 16. That's a lot of falling, and he's the RB2 technically on the Browns, and he might get traded. So even though he's disgruntled, he's still the RB2 for the first 8 weeks and might get traded to a good scenario in a full PPR league. It's worth taking a flyer on him. I'm going to give this team a grade D+. In a 3 wide receiver league, you only have 4 wide receivers, and I feel like that's a fatal mistake. Instead of drafting 3 quarterbacks and a handcuff of a handcuff, stuff like that, I think you take 6 wide receivers and you'd be in much better shape. But hey, that's just me. What do I know? Team 5, State of Mind. Getting Ezekiel Elliott as the 5th overall pick is berserk. I bet they were so happy to get Zeke round 5. Congratulations, State of Mind community, for doing that. And then Travis Kelce late in the 2nd round. I like that too. Now here's where things just went cuckoo bananas coconuts, and you go Zach Ertz here. The logic behind this was what I'm hearing, what they were saying. Oh, Zach Ertz, he'll put up as many points as a top 12 wide receiver. We're not too crazy about the wide receivers here. True. But you're behind the 8 ball now. You're not going to be able to take a bunch of wide receivers. So now your wide receiver 2 becomes your wide receiver 1. Your wide receiver 3 becomes your wide receiver 2. So it's not looking good. I would not have did that. On top of that, Dallas Goedert is emerging. He's getting really good. And I think Zach Ertz is going to have a little decline. Zach Ertz is my number 3 ranked tight end. He's a tier 2 tight end. There's no other tier 2 tight end. So he's still really, really good. Just not like he's just not Kelce. Like, I don't get the thinking behind this. Just because 2 + 2 = 4 doesn't mean that you owe me $4. Like, I get how they came to a conclusion. Like, you solved the formula correctly. or I mean, close to being correct, somewhat accurately, but just wasn't the formula you needed to solve in round 3. That wasn't it. So basically after this, the team completely dwindled and just it doesn't look good. Brandon Cooks as your wide receiver 1, the Sony Michel with his knees as your RB1. Zeke could be facing a suspension. Now everything's looking bad. Now that Zeke pick is really evening out now. Robbie Anderson's your wide receiver 2. A lot of options there for the Jets. That's not looking good. Will Fuller, who can never stay healthy, as your wide receiver 3. Rojo, actually really like this pick. I go for Rojo in round 9 and 10. You had to get him a little bit earlier because you sniped Counselor. Counselor would have took him, I'm sure, right there at round 8. So you got Rojo. That's not a bad pick because he could be the starter on the Bucks. Then you went Cam Newton, who's currently injured. Some people say it's a crime that Cam Newton is being drafted so low, and like, dude is injured. If he gets healthy, he'll get injured again. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm not a Cam Newton believer. If I had some kind of guarantee he would be completely 100% healthy for 16 games, that's a different story. But we don't have that guarantee. And his upside is with his running. The more he runs, the more chances he has of getting injured. If you're a defender going against the Panthers, you want to hit Cam Newton super hard and teach him a lesson. Like, this isn't tennis or something like that. I mean, this is football. It's a hard sport. It's a nasty sport. Like, they don't want the quarterback making a fool out of you. They will hit Cam Newton. Then you have Emmanuel Sanders coming off a major injury, I believe Achilles tear, slated on track to return week 1 of the regular season. Not the best case scenario. Dante Moncrief. Yep. Wide receiver 2 for the Steelers. Too bad he sucks. Devin Singletary. I actually really like this pick. Round 12. Good place to take him. I love Singletary in Dynasty. Not so much in redraft, but Shady McCoy probably get traded this year. I don't know. Something will probably happen to him. And Frank Gore is 36. So in round 12, though, even though it's a redraft, Singletary is still good. Then you went James Washington to kind of protect that Moncrief. So you're kind of saying that Moncrief could have been a mistake, so let's get James Washington because James Washington sucks too. I don't know. Then you went Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, not so bad. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a bit underrated. Then Jalen Richard. It is PPR, so whatever. It's round 15. And then Nelson Aguilar, who a lot of people are down on, but still should be the starter until he gets traded or something happens. So actually, that's a pretty good pick for, was that the 5th to last pick of the entire draft. Round 1 is looking like you got an A+ with Zeke. And then round 2 is looking good. And then round 3, everything fell apart because of that double tight end strategy. You know, a strategy that there's no name for it because nobody does it. Because of that, you're lacking at depth pretty much everywhere. So I'm going to give this a grade D. Team 6, Fantasy Football Profit. DeAndre Hopkins, Antonio Brown, very good first 2 picks. Leonard Fournette, not too high on him, but I'll have an open mind. Round 3, then follow with Devontae Freeman, who I'm not really too high on, but in round 4, that's like a no-brainer. He's a starting running back on a good team, on a good offense. So you got 2 running backs that I don't really like and are very injury prone, but man, they could put up a lot of points if they somehow stay healthy. Then you followed it up with Chris Carson, who's one of the best runners. He was the toughest runner last year, so I like that pick, even though there could be a little bit of a committee. Rashard Penny may get, 40% of the carries and Chris Carson 60%. That still should be good on a team that should run the ball a lot. Then OJ Howard, who's my 4th best tight end, you got right there. A little bit of an injury risk, I suppose. I mean, I don't really know that. I just know he was injured last year and just was kind of heartbreaking for those that owned OJ Howard. Like, oh man, I got a gem, and then boom, he gets hurt. So I guess he could stay healthy this year. I mean, guessing injuries is a dangerous game to begin with. I don't know why I'm playing this game. So far, really good team. Alshon Jeffrey, another good pick. Russell Wilson, another good pick. Christian Kirk. Round 9's okay for him. I guess I'd like him more round 10, but still, round 9's really good. And keep in mind that once we get to these later rounds, you gotta go up a couple rounds because we're not picking defenses or kickers. So often people pick a defense in round 10 or 11 like the Bears. So if I'm talking about a guy in round 12, that's kind of more like round 11. Ito Smith, that's okay. Golden Tate, that's very good. Nyheim Hines, not bad. Zay Jones, I just don't think he's that talented, so I don't think he'll see the field that much. Then you went Lamar Jackson. I guess that's not so bad. It's the late rounds. I like guys like Dak Prescott a little better, though. And then John Ross, good upside pick. And David Moore, not a bad pick here. Prophet has quite a good team, I would say. This is a very good team. Is there really any holes? I mean, definitely no holes at wide receiver. Very good there. At running back, no holes too. Got a little bit of depth. Just worried about the injuries when it comes to Freeman and Fournette. Tight end, it's my fourth best tight end, so can't really hate on that. Russell Wilson, round 8, can't really hate on that. So overall, very good team. I'm going to give this team a grade B+. Prophet, you got a B+. Next team 7, Fantasy Football Nation. Went with Melvin Gordon. That's okay. Todd Gurley, that's a terrible pick. With his arthritis and his knee, I just don't draft him round 2, guys. That's just madness. I would not do that. Then went Adam Thielen. That's an okay pick. Tyreek Hill. Round 4 is the earliest to draft Tyreek Hill. I'll just make it as simple as possible. If you draft Tyreek Hill, expect a 6-game suspension. So I know there's a report that says maybe around 8. Some anonymous Chiefs official said 4 weeks. That sounds like baloney to me. I mean, could be right though, but I'm just saying, like, it's not a source that I'm trusting. Some anonymous Chiefs official, like, whatever. Tyreek Hill, you draft him, expect a 6-game suspension. Heck, expect an 8-game suspension to be safe. So that's why I would take Tyreek Hill in round 5, ideally round 6. Because I don't want a player that's, I can't start for 6 weeks. And maybe more evidence or something else comes up and something even worse than 6 or 8 games happens. So that's like the average. So you drafting him, expect him to be out about 6 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks to be safe. Then you went Aaron Rodgers, DJ Moore. A little early for DJ Moore, but still a good pick. Someone's going to catch the ball over there, other than McCaffrey, of course. Latavius Murray, same thing there. I like him a lot. Maybe a little early, but round 7's not too early. Then Eric Ebron. Don't like this pick because Ebron's going to have a decline. Look, I had Andrew Luck and Eric Ebron in 2 leagues last year, both of them on the same leagues. It was great. I drafted Andrew Luck, believed in him. I picked up Ebron off waivers. I saw that Andrew Luck was balling and he loves his tight ends, but there's going to be a decline there. Doyle is playing. Yeah, he might get hurt for sure. Like, I recognize that. And then they got Funchess. I see Funchess as very similar to a tight end. Matter of fact, he used to be a tight end. So we got 3 tight ends there. They got Paris Campbell. They got Deion Kane coming back. They got Nyheim Hines. Marlon Mack might see a couple targets here and there. So with all these targets in the pass game, so many weapons, so many ways to score, taking Eric Ebron is just not a good pick. And right there, you got, look, Latavius Murray. Like, I get that, but maybe you should have drafted a tight end like Hunter Henry or Njoku or Vance McDonald right there. Like, hey, just saying. Then we have Corey Davis. I don't know about that pick. Like, he's good, but he's on the tight ends. It's like this similar situation as I just said about Ebron. They have a ton of weapons. On top of that, though, they don't have Andrew Luck throwing the ball. They have Marcus Mariota, and that's like, I'd say that's pretty bad compared to Luck. Much worse than Luck. Then you went LaShawn McCoy, round 10. Can't really hate on taking a starting running back that late. Then Hollywood Brown, round 11. I like Marquise Brown in a dynasty league. Good pick. In a redraft league, no thanks. Coming off a major injury, rookie wide receiver. In that offense that doesn't throw the ball too much, I'm going to pass on him in redraft formats. But hey, definitely do take him in a dynasty league, round 2 or round 1, wherever. Like, I'm cool with that. Then you went Paris Campbell. That's actually pretty good for round 12. That's someone we were considering. Very good pick. Jamal Williams, not bad. We're in round 13 here, slim pickings. Then you went Delaney Walker. Can't really hate on this pick. I guess you may have realized what's going on with the Ebron pick. So you got Delaney Walker, who's kind of similar to Greg Olsen, on the decline, getting older, been injured quite a bit, but still really good, and was Marcus Mariota's favorite target before he got injured. Just like Greg Olsen was the number one wide receiver there. I mean, even number one receiver, he's technically a tight end there, before Olsen started getting old and injured all the time. Then you went Kirk Cousins, okay, and Chris Thompson, round 16. That's a good pick. Your RB1's okay, your QB1's okay, your wide receiver 1's okay, but after that, I'm not really feeling this team, not really feeling the tight end position. I'm going to give this a grade C-. Team 8, Fantasy Guru, went with Joe Mixon, 8 overall. Hey, that's pretty good. I like Joe Mixon. Did a video with him. Man's a beast. They lost their round 1 offensive lineman draft pick for the entire season. Man, this team just has the worst luck, the Bengals. Then with round 2, this was a bad move. Taking Hilton over Mike Evans doesn't make any sense. Now, I wouldn't take Hilton over Antonio Brown too, but Antonio Brown's like kind of controversial pick. I like Antonio Brown right there. That's cool. So I'll just use Mike Evans as an example. Something we can all agree on, I think. Don't take Hilton over Mike Evans. That's just crazy. Mike Evans is clear-cut wide receiver 1 on Tampa Bay. And even like if he's not, it's him and Godwin and OJ Howard. Like there's just not a ton of options there. With the Colts, we just went over. There's just so many options. They just gave Funchess a good amount of money to be on that team. With all those options in the pass game, sure, T.Y. Hilton could be a low-end wide receiver 1, but I would rather, they're just like, look, Mike Evans was there. Go Mike Evans. Go with Kelsey. Like, just take anybody else there, but not T.Y. Hilton. And then you went Kerryon Johnson, late round 3. I like him more early round 4, but can't really hate on that because Kerryon Johnson is so talented and is going to be featured a lot. Still just a tad early, I'd say. Then Lockett, you took just a tad early, round 4. It's a bit early for Tyler Lockett. Then Miles Sanders, round 5. I think this pick was pretty like split. Some people hated it. Some people liked it. I think round 5 is an okay place to take Miles Sanders. He will be in a committee. He will start off slow. But I think, after a few weeks, might be like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, he'll take that RB1 role and he'll run with it, and he should be getting the bulk of the carries. This organization does like to run a committee, but still, even if he can get like 10 plus carries a game, that's still going to be really good on that good Eagles team. Then Jarvis Landry, so pick. Jared Cook, really like that pick. No Guru is a Saints fan, and that's why I like Drew Brees so much, because they always needed that third option in the pass game last year, and it never occurred. Like, it was just Mike Thomas, Kamara, nobody else. I think Jared Cook is just going to be so happy, and he's such a good fit with the Saints that's why I do like Jared Cook this early. I think Jared Cook is a top 5, top 6 tight end. That's right. And then you got Breeze as your logo guru, but then you go with Carson Wentz. Unbelievable here. Disrespect to the legend that won a Super Bowl. Even though the tragedy of Hurricane Katrina struck that year, Drew Brees put the city on his back and won a Super Bowl. Man's a legend. Insta Hall of Famer. I can't believe you went Carson Wentz over Drew Brees. Surprise there. But hey, we got Drew Brees super late because of this. Then you went Dante Foreman. We were going to take him because we have Lamar Miller. You got him. Anthony Miller. Okay. Kalen Ballage. Deshaun Jackson. Hey, that's pretty late for him. CJ Anderson. A handcuff to Kerryon Johnson. Can't hate on that. Then you went Trey Quinn. Good value pick. Could be a mini Edelman, like a mini PPR beast over there. And then Sam Darnold and Antonio Callaway. So, man, really, you got Luckett just a tad early and T.Y. Hilton too early. Other than that, you did okay. And yeah, Carson Wentz, I wouldn't have liked it. Other than that, you did good. But I really think that T.Y. Hilton pick hurt you. Still ended up with a decent team. I don't trust that Carson Wentz is going to stay healthy, unfortunately. Good tight end, though. I'm going to give this a grade C+. Really would have been like a B+ or close to an A if you just got a better quarterback that's not always hurt and picked Mike Evans, let's say, over Hilton, or even Antonio Brown. Hey, I like Antonio Brown, or even I don't know. Just don't pick Hilton. Team 9, fantasy football expert Davante Adams, great pick. James Conner right there. I know he didn't want James Conner because of the possible committee, and then the news broke out shortly after that it would probably be a committee with Jalen Samuels also being featured. He was pushing for Dalvin Cook, but his community wanted James Conner, so he went Conner. Then you went Marlon Mack, which kind of made up for that, because getting Mack that late, like we were considering taking him early round 3, but you got him late round 3. Great value right there. Then another great value pick with AJ Green, round 4. Like, that's crazy how we fell that far. Like, I rarely see AJ Green making it out of round 3. And then round 5, James White, not a bad pick in PPR. I really see the Patriots using the running back position more in the pass game. Then Mike Williams, round 6. I like him more round 7, but not too bad. What is that? That's like early round 6. Yeah, I'd rather see him like round 7. Rashad Penny, round 7, not bad. And then the team dwindles off here. Larry Fitzgerald, I don't know, man. He's old. He's on the decline. Look, he's a legend too, but they're just going to spread the ball so much. And I don't know. This could be Fitzgerald's last year. I think, I don't know, round 8. Nah, I'm not feeling it. Round 9, Austin Hooper. Not feeling it. Like, Austin Hooper is supposed to do good. He's supposed to do good. 2017, 2018. He just never really panned out to be a fantasy relevant tight end you can start every week. Then you went Curtis Samuel. Should be a starting wide receiver on the Panthers. Okay, Benny Snell. Phillip Rivers as your QB1. Don't really like that. Look, Rivers is good. He's going to be solid. He's going to be startable just about every week. But there's no upside here. The guy averages like 0 rush yards a game. That's why I'd rather go all out and just get a guy like Kyler Murray, like whatever. So Phillip Rivers, he'll be good, but not a lot of upside. So, QB1 is kind of lacking. Tight end 1's kind of lacking. Rest of the positions is pretty good though. Then you went with Funchess, Noah Fant, Derek Carr, and I believe that's John Brown of the Bills. Okay team, but don't like the QB and tight end position, especially the tight end position. If AJ Green stays healthy this year and performs, gets a little taste of the fountain of youth, you'll have a good team regardless. I'm going to give this a grade C+. Team 10, Fantasy Football Beast. Le'Veon Bell, 10 overall. Love the value there. Odell Beckham, second round, that's pretty good. Aaron Jones, round 3, not bad. Amari Cooper fell a bit, round 4, that's pretty good. Tyler Boyd, round 5, that's pretty good. I like Jared Cook more. I like OJ Howard more. But, hey, Evan Ingram, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Baker Mayfield, round 7, not terrible. Jerick McKinnon, round 8, don't really get that. That's weird. Austin Eckler, round 9, that's weird. Geronimo, round 10. That's kind of late, but I like the upside with MVS more than Geronimo. I feel like MVS is more talented, has more upside. Geronimo just has been a Packer longer, just has more familiarity with the Packers. A lot of Packers wide receivers, rookie wide receivers, don't do well. So that's why I like MVS more. And I think that's one of the reasons why Geronimo was starting when he was healthy, like because he wasn't a rookie. That's pretty much it. Like that's your number one. Like why is this guy playing and getting starting minutes? He's not a rookie. Like that's it. I can't really say that Geronimo was really that talented or anything. That's just my take on that. Still getting him in round 10 is not bad. Marquise Goodwin, Niner wide receiver. Dion Lewis, round 12, great value right there. Traquan Smith, round 13. We really wanted Traquan Smith. Unfortunately, we got kind of sniped. Is it still sniped if it's like 7 picks before you? I don't know if that is. But still, I felt it. You know, it matters how you feel. And I felt the snipe. So we got sniped with Traquan Smith right there. Good pick. A.J. Brown, suppose that's not so bad for that late. Round 14. Kyle Rudolph, someone I wouldn't draft at all. Matthew Stafford, someone I wouldn't draft at all either. But I'm sure you plan on starting Matthew Stafford a total of 1 week. And same with Rudolph. I'm sure you plan on starting him 1 week. Other than a few questionable picks, very good team. I think the starters are pretty good. I'm going to give this a grade B. A little bit concerned about the depth, but hey, if you can stay healthy, you got a shot. Team 11, the football fix. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and Josh Jacobs. Ooh, a little tough to have Josh Jacobs as your RB1. I don't know, man. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones. I think you just kind of got to pick one and then roll with the running back. And I know right there, I don't like too many running backs, close to that turn. But it's just kind of tough going Josh Jacobs as your RB1. I think a lot of people in this draft underestimated how fast running backs would go. I remember when we were picking Kittle, people were saying like David Montgomery's going to be available for us around 4. And, all these other players like Kerryon. And none of them were even close to being available for us. David Montgomery went the very next pick. Kerryon went round 3. Aaron Jones went round 3. It was just really slim pickings. So none of the running backs really made it to round 4, like the ones that you would consider like tier 1 or tier 2, maybe even tier 3. They didn't make it that far. I have some empathy for you. I can understand. But just having Josh Jacobs as your RB1 isn't the greatest. Then you went Stephon Diggs. That's cool for 4.11. Is that right? 4.0. Oh, that's 4.02. Sorry, a little bit early for Diggs. And then Tariq Cohen. Okay. A lot of people are on Tariq Cohen, but I don't know about a 5th rounder. I see him more like a 6th or 7th. Like, I don't like him that early. Deshaun Watson, round 6. Not bad, but maybe you focus on more running backs in round 6 because you really need a running back. Like, if I'm going Josh Jacobs and Tariq Cohen, like starting them blindly every week, I think I'm like, man, I might need a running back. You don't want to be in desperation mode, but I'm sure there was a running back you guys liked there. Instead, you went with quarterback. Then you went Njoku, decent pick. Jordan Howard, I can smell the desperation on that pick. Marvin Jones, who's a little bit disgruntled with Matt Patricia. Don't know what he's doing over there as the head coach. Kareem Hunt, round 10, not bad. Jared Goff, round 11, not bad. Matt Breida, round 12. Who knows what's going to happen there? It was a 3rd-string running back for the Niners, 1st-string, 2nd-string. I don't know. Maybe he gets traded. Maybe someone gets hurt. I don't know. Chris Herndon, round 13. Probably could have waited, but who cares? Carlos Hyde, Albert Wilson. That's a good value pick. And Chase Edmonds, actually one of my favorite picks on your team. Round 16, getting Chase Edmonds, who's pretty much guaranteed to have some kind of role on that. Should be high-powered offense. Hey, at least they'll be throwing and running a lot of plays. So good value pick with Chase Edmonds at round 16. For what you had to work with at that turn and what happened, I do have some sympathy for you, but still overall the team, I don't really like it. Quarterback's good. Tight end is decent. Josh Jacobs is decent, but he is your RB1. RB2 is kind of dwindling. Like your running back depth isn't ideal. Wide receivers are very solid though. That's definitely your strength is wide receiver. You also are very good at the quarterback position. But let's say this, all right, just wild, like crazy, all right, bold, something crazy that probably won't happen. But let's say Josh Jacobs kind of sucks. Then this team to me is just over. Like by the time Kareem Hunt comes back to take an RB2 role for the Browns, you could be done. You could be out of playoff contention by the time it's like week 8 or 9 or whenever he's coming back. And because of RB depth, I'm going to give this a grade C. Team 12, final team, fantasy football wrapper. This was a crazy team because it seemed like every other pick was like crazy, but I like the other picks though. Like it was just weird, and it makes sense because he had the last pick, so he had the back-to-back. So Juju Smith-Schuster, love that pick there. The upside is there. The floor is okay, but the upside is definitely there. He's an elite wide receiver. You got him. And then you went Nick Chubb, and I really like Nick Chubb, but I really don't like him that early. I know you're on the turn. I can't see myself taking him there. I probably would have rather just went wide receiver, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, something else there. I just can't see myself taking Chubb as a top 13 pick. Can't do it. Then round 3, Philip Lindsay. Man, that's so early for a guy who's not on a great offense. I mean, he ran hard. He's currently injured. He should be healthy like really soon, but I'd rather take Royce Freeman later. That's just me. I think he's greater much better value than taking Lindsay early. Lindsay to me is a 5th rounder, and just taking him round 3 is just way too early. Then Cooper Kupp is a flat out bad pick. The ACL injury is severely underappreciated. That's the first Rams wide receiver off the board. It makes no sense to me. ACL is a significant injury. Now there's a group of players that have recovered miraculously right away, including like Adrian Peterson. I don't know, it's not a long list. Adrian Peterson came back even tougher, but there's not a lot of APs out there in the world, man. And Cooper Kupp was just way too early. You could have got AJ Green. You could have got Amari Cooper. That's crazy. Amari Cooper is healthy. Cooper Kupp could be eased into the lineup. It's just not someone I'm drafting that early. Like Robert Woods was there, Calvin Ridley, Julian Edelman, Chris Godwin. It's like the list goes on and on. The other 2 Rams wide receivers are better picks, safer picks. So Cooper Kupp, just a flat out bad pick. Got to dock a lot of points for that. And his ACL injury did occur a few weeks into the season. He has enough time to recover. Like, I get that. Like, I'm not saying it's Kupp is horrible. It's just too early, like way too early, with way better wide receivers available to draft there. Even like Devontae Freeman was there. I don't know. It's too early for me. Then you went Tevin Coleman, way too early for a Niners running back. And Drake, I love that pick though. So Coleman I hate. Drake I love. That's too much of a committee for Coleman. I think Drake's got that RB1 job. Like it should be good. And getting an RB1 that has some talent, some injury concern with Drake for sure. But with that much talent and can catch the ball and is very efficient, getting him in round 6 is pretty good. Then you went Dante Pettis. That's a so-so pick. Love Dante Pettis. He'll be really good. But yeah, Niners, they spread the ball a lot. Then went Royce Freeman. So I like Royce Freeman in round 8. It's just a bit awkward. Like this makes an awkward situation, like a bit of a comedy. 2 unlikely characters meeting. You went Philip Lindsay round 3 and then Royce Freeman round 8. Just a little bit of uncomfortable situation here. Next 2 picks, I love MVS, great upside. Kiki Cutie, one of my favorite wide receivers to target in drafts. I would have loved to get Cutie if he kept falling, and he may have because he's slept on so much. I think Cutie will be good if Fuller is healthy somehow. If Fuller is miraculously healthy this year, and I think he'll be even better if Fuller gets hurt. Like he'll still have his role. He'll be very good. Watson will look to him because Hopkins is taking all the attention. And even though I would have liked to get a quarterback earlier, I got Breeze. Counselor shockingly picked Kyler Murray. Getting Josh Allen this late is actually good value. I'm not loving Josh Allen as my QB1, but the value is there and the upside is there. So can't hate on that. Now this next pick, Goddard at round 12. This is a bit funky. So look, you got Lindsay, you got Tevin Coleman, Dante Pettis, right around those picks, and those are, round 3, round 5, round 7, wherever, right around there. Probably should have got a tight end. So now you have a tight end that's a backup tight end on the Eagles. And look, I do like Goddard. I love him in Dynasty, and I think he's a good flyer tight end to get. Like, we were thinking of getting him as our backup tight end, as we got Kittle. So he went just a tad earlier than I usually see him go. I actually don't really see him get drafted sometimes. But that's your tight end 1. That's kind of gross. I don't know. Look, they'll tell it will really pan out if Ertz gets hurt. Like, that would be amazing. That would be a baller pick right there. But basing it off Ertz getting hurt is not a good strategy. Then you went Jameis Winston, round 13. Now that is super, super, super great value. One of the best value picks in this entire draft, no doubt about it. Jameis Winston's floor is not good, but his upside is tremendous. I have him ranked number 7 just because of his upside, quarterback 7. And let me tell you guys, before you get on me for ranking him QB 7, it's very hard to rank quarterbacks. It's nearly impossible this year. It's so deep. There's 20 quarterbacks you can pick and start week 1. Like, it's really that deep. And Jameis Winston with Bruce Arians, he has a real coach now, and he's got weapons. OJ Howard, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. He can make things happen. Also, their defense sucks. He'll be throwing the ball a lot. Round 13, just kind of mind-blowing that Jameis Winston is there. I like him over guys like Big Ben, Phillip Rivers. I even like him over Cam Newton. Round 14, you went Bruce Anderson. I can see the appeal there. Then you went with Arcega-Whiteside. I like JJ in Dynasty, but I don't really like him in redraft. I guess I can't get too picky at round 15 who you went with. And then round 16, your final pick, you went with Darren Waller, a tight end for the Raiders. A lot of fantasy hype. I'm not really seeing it, but I guess. I mean, I kind of see it. And it is round 16. Look, he can be the starting tight end, or at least the receiving tight end on the Raiders, and that does have some appeal. It's just, let's just say your tight end position is weak. The quarterback position is not the strongest, but with that great, amazing value you got with Josh Allen and Jameis Winston, like that value is tremendous. Kind of made up for it. But tight end, you're severely lacking. Do you have the worst tight end out of all the owners? I'd say yeah, it's looking like, if not the worst, like the second worst or third worst. So a lot of questionable picks in the early to mid rounds. Kind of made up for it with the quarterbacks. But this team would have been a full grade higher if you went with a tight end in those mid rounds right there and secured a good one that you can just blindly start every week and feel comfortable starting every week. I'm going to give this team a grade D+. With a tight end, could have been like a C+, and don't really like the RB2 and wide receiver 2 situation either with Kupp and Lindsey. For those of you asking about the Instagram Experts League, that's a separate league. That's a normal league with 12 experts. We'll be having that draft late July, and that's when I'll be releasing the video for that. Because I wasn't able to film this draft, I went into a lot of detail with each team, what I thought, the thought process, and the team grades. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch, and hit that bell icon so you won't miss anything. Also subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast, and I'll see you on the next video.